there was 3 years in a row. I went and had Christmas at my parents' house and went to the studio after on Christmas Day. It was just like, yo, I'm so driven and want this so bad. Like, yo, mom, dad, my brother, I love you guys. Today's been great, but I got to go to the studio now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Headliner Mindset Podcast. Today's guest is one of the leaders and pioneers of the G House movement. Not only is he touring consistently and playing some of the biggest shows and festivals in the world, he is also supporting the next generation of up-and-coming artists with his record label, DND Records. This is BIJOU.
Yo, 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 what's good?
What's up, man? Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
You and Henry Fong are officially tied for being the two coolest dudes so far, because for both of you, I didn't know you guys at all. We just randomly connected on Instagram recently. And I was like, hey, man, are you down to hop on? And no questions asked. You're like, fuck yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. That's what's up, dude. I love that. So thank you so much for, being here, giving us your time and energy.
Of course. No doubt.
I'm excited to dive in with you.
It's going to be fun. Yeah, when you reached out, I was like, I'm going to do a tiny little bit of research. I was like, I like the message. Count me in,
Let's go. That's what's up, bro. I started doing a little bit of research on you beforehand, and I want to give a shout out because there's another podcast out there called Sidewalk Talk EDM.
Yep.
Highly recommend all of you guys go check this out. This girl has interviewed like every fucking DJ in the world. So when I'm getting ready to prep on whoever I'm going to interview, it just seems to be the first thing that pops up. So she did a great interview with you. Highly recommend all of you guys go check that out if you want to learn more about BIJOU's story. So I just wanted to start off giving a shout out to her and that awesome podcast. And one of the things, this is where I'd like to start with a little bit about your story, because I do find it so interesting, but you used to be a professional baseball player before you were a DJ. So let's start there. I want to hear a little bit about the transition from the sports world into the music world.
It's funny because the two actually really tie in together, like so heavily in regards to like a persistence and hard work standpoint. Dude, I started playing baseball when I was 5, played in high school, won a state championship in high school, played at a nationally ranked junior college in Arizona called Paradise Valley Community College. We won the conference both years. Sophomore year, we went to the Junior College World Series. It was incredible. To this day, I'm still friends with that coach. He was probably one of my biggest mentors I've ever had. Taught me everything. I don't want to say everything, but a lot about hard work, being on time, how important it is to be reliable, and just take things seriously, and really be accountable for everything that you're doing and put your heart into whatever you're doing as well.
Yeah.
Went from there, went to a small school in Oklahoma that we don't have to go into a whole lot because that place sucked. Was not fun. We'll just say like going from Tempe, Arizona, where the largest university in the country is.
Yeah.
Major city, Phoenix, to a town of 7,000 people is a big culture shock.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine.
And then when you go expecting all of these things that these coaches told you, and then you get there and it was all bullshit, you're like, oh, well, this sucks. Went through it. That was my junior year. That was the year, actually, though, that led me to go to my first ever music festival. There was someone on my team named Calvin. And the summer before that, I played in the West Coast League in Washington and discovered dance music in Kelowna, Canada. Then the drinking age was 19. I still drank at that time. So we're out at the clubs. We meet like a group of people. They're like, yo, we're going to take you to this techno club. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, but let's go. Right. And
back when all electronic music was just called techno. It was just called techno music.
Yeah. Everyone just knew dance music is techno. And people were just like, okay, so we went and I was like, this is amazing. Fell in love with it. So fast forward to like that summer, I discovered like Tiesto, Deadmau5, all the originals,
Yep. The OGs.
Like, Tiesto's Power Mix on YouTube was like the coolest thing in the world to me.
Yeah. He was the guy that got me into it as well. It was the only name I knew in electronic music was Tiesto. And I just started listening to his Club Life show that he did every week. Yeah.
It was so big. So then I met Calvin. He took me to Nocturnal, Texas, which doesn't even exist anymore. It was in Rockdale, Texas. It was so sick, dude. Like 40,000 people in the middle of nowhere in Texas at this rave. And I was like, yo, this is insane,
Yeah.
right? Literally, I only went one day and went home, drove back to Oklahoma the next day and downloaded Virtual DJ. Was like, I want to do this.
Wow. Wow. So you just went straight from being in the crowd day one. You're just like, I want to be up there, like right away.
100%, dude. I saw Avicii, I saw Porter Robinson on a side stage at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Like, no one there. Like Donald Glad back then. I saw Armin, I saw Green Velvet. Like,
Yeah, dude.
it was it was so sick, you know? And then I ended up going again because they had it twice in like a 12-month span. I went again in April, went both days, and just so into it. Transferred out of that school, went home in the summer, and I was like, all right, so like what's going on in Arizona? Found this promo company called Hades Entertainment. Started working for them as like a street promoter, handing out flyers, selling tickets.
Mm.
Then transferred to a school in St. Louis and just kept going
Kept going as a promoter.
as a promoter. So like, dude, I was living in St. Louis promoting the Arizona shows online for them.
Oh, wow.
You know,
Wow.
like
I love that. I love that so much too, because you got involved in the community,
mhm.
right? Like you started adding value to the community. And I think that's such an important thing for people to realize and understand is like, what are you bringing to the table? How are you helping? How are you serving? How are you adding value? So it's so cool that you got involved like that.
Totally. And I got to see it from like the ground level, you know, like I'm literally at the bottom of the totem pole as a street level promoter. And I'm just trying to like, I just want to DJ local shows.
Yeah.
And I got to play my first local show that summer. And like, it was the sickest thing ever. It was at this club called Cream Stereo Lounge, right? And like 50 of my friends came, and like the guy who was the promoter was all happy. And it was funny because like the dude who was like the headliner, he was like upset because I brought all the people and was getting all the love. And like I was using Serato at the time, and he literally pulled a cord out on me and I didn't even know.
Wow.
So like, dude, the first show I ever had, I had to fake like I was DJing and put a mix on one deck in Serato and just like fake it.
Dude, that's cutthroat. That's some cutthroat shit out there.
It
Now,
was, yeah.
when you were at that level and you were doing the street team thing, bottom of the totem pole, you had also been to a festival. Were you thinking like, I want to be a massive DJ and play in front of thousands of people? Or were you more just like, I just want to play at the local club and this is the coolest shit in the world? Or like, did you have that bigger vision there?
No, I didn't even know what producing music was. Didn't know you needed to. I just wanted to be, I was just having fun and wanted to have fun with my friends,
Yeah.
you know, and I just was passionate about music. So then like I went through that summer, played the one show, kept promoting, went to school in St. Louis because I transferred out of Oklahoma and just was still doing online promotion whole year, right? Just kept going all the way through my senior year. We lost in the regional to go to the NAI World Series, which was sucked, but just the way it is.
Yeah. Comes with the territory.
Part of playing sports, you're gonna lose.
Yep.
You know, majority of the time you lose. So that led me into professional baseball. I got a tryout with an independent baseball team in Arizona, got signed, and started playing more local shows that summer as actually, yo, this is a crazy story. I don't know if I've told this part before. So when I got signed, right, I had already committed to going to EDC that summer. So
Uh-huh.
this is summer 2012, right? And like I was in this Facebook group called Bong House, and it was all these guys from Connecticut and New York City, right? We had like this close-knit community. Like I don't know how me and my friend got into it, but we're in this community on Facebook, and they're like, "Yeah, we rented this huge house in Vegas. Do you guys want to come and like stay here with us for EDC?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're gonna go."
Hell yeah.
Right? So when I got signed, I told my coach, I was like, "Yo, just so you know, like I can't be here this week. I have to go to my cousin's graduation in California." Right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was at EDC and in Vegas for a week.
I love that. And that's so interesting because it's like I can see how there's this the tug of war of this splitting of passion
Yeah,
starting to happen at that time.
that's definitely when it happened. But I still was like, I want to be a professional baseball player. You know,
Yeah.
like music is just like a thing. I had started producing at that point a little bit, probably a year prior, and played that first season. Was like, okay, cool. Kept promoting, played more local shows that fall, that I had off. Like I started playing some bigger shows where I was getting like some direct support slots or like the 10 p.m. slot at the club, and like
Yeah.
I'm still promoting in the streets, selling tickets. Like, dude, there was one show I sold like 100 hard tickets for, and I
Yeah.
had to play the 9 o'clock slot, and they didn't open the door. I played 9 to 9:45. They didn't even open doors till 9:30, and 100 of my friends are waiting.
Oh man.
Like, so it was just like I was doing everything possible to like try and move up.
Yeah.
Got re-signed the next year, and then like halfway through the season, I was just like, I don't love this anymore. This
Yeah.
is 2013, and I told my manager, I was just like, look, I'm gonna be here for one more week, and then I'm retiring. Which
Damn.
did that my last game ever. I got my first professional win as a pitcher,
Hell yeah.
which is cool, and went out on top.
Now, you've been playing baseball since you said 5 years old, right?
Yeah.
Your whole life. How hard was it to leave that behind? Or like was it a real tough decision to make, or was it pretty easy to move on?
For me, it was easy to move on because I didn't love it anymore. I'm the type of person where if I don't love something, I'm just like, yo, I got to move forward or I'm not going to be happy,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know? And
Same.
I was more concerned about my parents because they had invested so much time and so much money into that career that I
Yeah.
was like, yo, I don't want to let them down,
Mm.
But
How do they take it?
honestly, they were super cool. Like one day I was like, I was shitting bricks. I was like, yo, I need to talk to you guys about something. And they're kind of weirded out, like, what? Like, you don't ever do this.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, I don't want to play baseball anymore. I don't love it. I want to pursue music full time. And they're like, all right, cool, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
It's like, that's it. It was that easy. And they're like, yeah, if you want to do music, just do music, but like, don't half ass it. Like, if you're going to do it, really do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. And what a great, not only great to have that support, but to also have that message behind it as well. Like, yeah, if you're gonna do it, fucking do it. Go for it.
Exactly. Yeah. Both of my parents, neither of them half-assed anything. And my dad was in the music industry, like prior to me being born and like maybe 6 months after I was born. So he kind of knew what it was and was like, he had a passion for it. So I think for him, even though I left baseball, it was maybe exciting for him as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And dude, I think that's such a huge thing, and it's something that I talk to a lot of artists and clients about is being all in. And I think a lot of people are like, I'm going to try this thing out and kind of see what happens, which is very different energy than I'm going to fucking put 100% of my effort into this and see what happens, right? Like I'm going to
Hmm.
commit and go all in and give it everything I got. And I feel like that's the only way you have any chance of making this happen. You can't really be dabbling. It's like you're either fucking in or you're out, right?
100%. Can't be a 50%er. Like it's just
Yeah.
not. As E40 would say, it can't be a couch potato hustler because this shit ain't gonna work.
Yeah, dude, straight up, man. Straight up. All right, so you made that decision. You left baseball. You pivoted. You shifted your energy into really going into music full time. What did it look like when you went for music full time? Like, what were you actually really doing and focusing on, and how did things change in your life at that point?
So it kind of got harder, definitely, because like one, I had to go get a job. I'm living in my parents' house. Like I don't have rent. I don't really have any overhead.
Yeah.
My homie who was helping me learn production was like, "Yo, come work with me at Jersey Mike's," and I'm like, "Fuck, dude. Like I don't know if I want to go work at Jersey Mike's. Like that kind of sucks, whatever." And he's like, "Trust me, just come work here. Like we get paid decent." Like I was like, "Fuck it. All right, I'm gonna come." I was like, "I'm gonna come work at Jersey Mike's. I'm gonna play the local gigs, every one I can." And at that time too, I had become close with like one of my best friends now. His name's Justin, and our buddy who went by Risky. He was running a Tuesday night on Mill Avenue in Tempe, and it was called I Love House Tuesdays. He was transitioning from moving from here back to Milwaukee. This is funny because I'm gonna see him tonight in Milwaukee actually, and he's like, I want you guys to take over the night because I
Oh
had
wow.
built like a little bit of a local name, and we're like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we're running this Tuesday night. I have a job at Jersey Mike's. I'm producing, I'm playing local shows, and I'm just like doing anything and everything I can to like immerse myself in the scene. Like I'm out like three,
Mm,
4 nights a week.
yep.
And like, dude, I saw it was intense. It's not a lot of sleep.
I love that you just said immerse yourself in the scene, because I think like what I hear about your story, which is really cool, which is interesting, is that you came from the bottom up. You came from the ground up. You're like, I'm going to start at the bottom of the totem pole. I'm going to build my own audience and come up that way, rather than, I think a lot of people are, they're trying to get signed to the big label that's going to put them on. They're trying to get
Mhm.
signed to the manager that's going to put them on. And of course, not everybody lives in a city that really has an industry that's popping and has cool parties going on. Like you were in a place where you really could do that. But I think that mindset, there's a distinct shift around that, where it's like, I'm going to build myself and contribute to the scene, immerse myself in it, versus I'm going to try to wait for somebody to kind of pick me up and take me to success, which is a mindset that I see a lot of people kind of stuck in. And not that one is right or wrong, especially if you live in a city where you don't have a scene, like you kind of
Mhm.
have to take that approach, but I find that really interesting.
Yeah, like for me, it was different because I'm like, okay, there's a decent scene here at that time, you know? And like in that time, like right around that same time, I had a falling out with the manager I was working with and that promotion company. Like we
Mm,
were starting to do, I was like, yo, I went to him, I was like, yo, we're doing this G House shit. Fuck it. We're gonna throw our own shows. We're gonna bring these artists. Like, don't worry. He's like, I'll sell the tickets. I'll make sure the people come. And he's like, dude, are you sure about this? Like, this is a major risk. And I was like, just trust me. I got this. And we started throwing these shows. And then there was like
yeah.
a falling out with us. And in that happening, we were working as a third party promoter for Relentless Beats.
Yeah.
It's the biggest promoter out here. And I had formed a relationship with Thomas, who is the owner of Relentless. This all happened. And I went to him. I go, yo, here's what's going on. I go, you guys can either ride with me and keep putting me on your shows, or I'll just figure this shit out on my own because I'm already
Mm,
throwing my own and I'll make it happen,
yeah.
you know? And he's like, nah, we'll ride with you.
Yeah. I'm going to do this shit with or without you. I'm going to do this shit no matter what.
100%.
Fuck yeah.
You know,
Fuck yeah.
that's just how I am, you know? Like, I just have a way of figuring things out. If some shit's not happening and I need it to happen, we're going to find the right way to make it work,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, he's like, I'm gonna ride with you. And then, dude, probably a year later, I was like, yo, I want you to be my manager. And he's like, what? Like, we don't manage artists. Like, we throw shows. I was like, yeah, but like, you know everyone. Like, you know all the agents, you know all the promoters. Like, I want you to manage me. And he's like, send me the music. And I sent him the music, which I knew at the time was like not very good. Right. And he was so honest. He's like, yo, this music is bad. Like, I can't manage you. Like, no way.
Yeah, dude, that's the kind of manager and the kind of friend you need in your circle, is someone that's gonna give you the fucking brutal, honest truth and not just gas you up, you know?
Dude, straight up. Those are the best friends because, like,
Yeah.
even though sometimes that shit hurts, it's going to drive you forward and you're going to be like, yo, I got to make a change,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know?
That's what we always say as coaches, is like, you know, when I get hired as a coach, I always say like, yo, I'm not here to be your friend. You got plenty of friends. You're
Yeah.
paying me to tell you the shit that your friends aren't going to tell you. Like that's
Yeah.
why you need me in your corner, you know?
Yeah. I think everyone should have friends like that. Justin, the person I mentioned, is that friend for me. He literally was like, yo, I'll never give you credit until you play main stage EDC, you get an agent, and you get a Grammy. He goes, until then, you ain't shit.
You're just a little bitch.
Literally. Yes. But
That's
like,
funny.
that's just him. He's honest, you know, and he's been honest and truthful with me from the beginning, you know, and that's kind of like that's the type of friend you want to have in your corner and you want
Yeah.
to have forever, you know. That's somebody who knows going to ride for you and isn't going to bullshit you. And if you actually want to grow and you can look yourself in the mirror and be like, I want to grow, those are the type of people you want to have around you.
Yeah. And I imagine you're probably not hanging out with a lot of couch potato hustlers. I
Nah.
imagine the other dudes and, you know, friends and people that are in your corner are probably like very like-minded, ambitious,
Hmm.
hustler type of people.
Yeah. And that's just like, that's where I come from. Like, I had an interview recently and somehow it took me back to kindergarten when I was like hustling kids for Pokemon cards. It's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah. You were that guy. I feel like that's like so many entrepreneur stories. It's like they all started off, you know, selling lemonade or selling baseball cards. Like when you talk about like these like millionaire guys, you know, like, dude, I've been doing this shit since I was 5.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
it's all persistence, you know? So like
yeah.
going back a year, I told Thomas, I was like, all right, like I'm gonna just keep playing these shows. I'm gonna keep working my job. And I think this was like late to 2014, probably.
You're still working Jersey Mike's,
Still working Jersey Mike's, dude.
slanging those sandwiches?
Yeah, I'm an assistant manager at this point. I worked my
Hell
way
yeah.
up, you
There
know?
we go.
So I'm like, all right, I'm getting better at the music. I go, yo, in a year, I promise you the music's gonna be better and you will manage me. And he's like, dude, you're nuts. Like, all right, whatever. You know, like
Yeah.
whatever you say. And
You declared it though.
yeah, I declared it. I was like, this shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
A year later, I took him the music. And this was probably maybe not even a year later. And he was like, yo, like, this is way better. And I was like starting to get support from like Destructo and
Mm.
Wax and
Yeah.
Fresh. And there was some noise happening, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and in that time, he was putting me on these local shows that made sense for me sound wise as the direct support slot so I could meet these artists,
Yeah.
you know? So he's like, yeah, maybe I'm not managing you, but like, let me help you grow,
Yep.
right? He's like, I see something here. And I took him the music and he's like, all right, let's do this. He goes, just so you know, he goes, the best artists know how to self-manage themselves. He goes, I'm going to help you connect the dots in the places that you can't. And we're going to push this forward. And in that time frame, right, I'm taking all the money I have and I'm traveling all around the country to different places, meeting different people that are talent buyers, meeting different promoters, like putting in legwork, dude,
Yep.
to be like, yo, I got to know as many people as I can. And probably 3 months later, I'm still working at Jersey Mike's. Thomas calls me. This is November 2015. He goes, yo, this is going to sound weird, but I got a call and Kevin Federline needs a new producer. And I'm like,
Whoa.
what? He's like, yeah, do you want to do it? And I go, nah, I'm good, bro. I don't want anything to do with that guy. You know, he's like, what? Like, you could quit your job. And I was like, nope, bad reputation. I'm out. I got to go back to work. Peace. Click. Hung up the phone.
Yeah.
Like, don't even bring me that bullshit. Right.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks later, he's like, yo, Kevin's coming to town. And I'm like, dude, like I told you, like, good. He's like, yo, just meet the guy. Apparently he's really cool. He's really nice. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I was like, going to Steak 44. We're getting a fire steak. We're at least having a good meal. He's paying for it. Like, I'm gonna at least get a
There you
good
go.
meal out of this. You know,
Take
like,
that steak.
yeah, like I'm broke. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, this is a chance. I'm gonna get a good meal in.
Yeah. I had
You
too
know?
many fucking Jersey Mike sandwiches. I'm taking that steak.
Yeah, give me that steak, you know? So, dude, we go and have dinner. We meet the guy. He's the nicest guy in the world. And I realized two things that day. I go, one, never believe what you see and hear in the tabloids or the internet, because a lot of it is bullshit. And two, take people for face value and don't judge them before you meet them.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, I quit my job.
Boom. Boom. Man, that's huge. That's such a cool story, man. There's so many little just awesome lessons and nuggets of wisdom in that. You know, I really love hearing, I mean, first off, just to go back to learning how to be a promoter and understanding that as an artist, like that's, you know, you get paid by bringing people to the club, like however big your audience is, however big your following is, however many tickets you can sell, understanding that's the economy of being a touring DJ. So to actually have that experience of literally handing out flyers and being a promoter and coming up through that lane, I feel like that's such invaluable experience, because I feel like a lot of people don't really get that part, or at least haven't embodied it to the level of depth that you have when you're actually a promoter and you're actually really out there grinding and selling tickets.
Totally. And like as an artist, still at my level, even though like I'm gonna do 100 shows this year, right? Like it's the most shows I've ever done in a year, which is great.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If I don't sell tickets, I'm not doing 100 shows next year,
For sure.
you know? And this is the part that people don't get. They're like, well, I just want to be the artist, you know? That's great. You could be that artist, but you could be that artist at home in your bedroom, because if you're not selling tickets, they're not going to book you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was the biggest mindset shift that I realized in doing this podcast after interviewing just my first 2 or 3 people was realizing that it's like you really have to be a business owner and think like a business owner and just own the fact that like you are a business owner and you're running a fucking business, and or you're not and you're just an artist and you're making really dope art out of your bedroom. But like this is the biggest step for people to take, is actually how you identify yourself as like, I own a business, I run a
Mhm.
business, I have a team of people that help me run this business,
Mhm.
but I'm a business owner. And there's almost like this cognitive dissonance conflict sometimes, I think, of people seeing themselves of like, oh no, I'm an artist. Art and business conflict with each other, so how can I be both? And it's like, it's kind of like the yin and the yang. It's like, no, it's both of those things coming together. You're both of them.
Totally. And I just want to state this. There's nothing wrong with just making art in your bedroom. There's not a single thing wrong with that. I just want to state that. But also, like, you have to understand the music industry, right? Industry, that makes it a business. So if you want to be part of the music industry, you have to understand that, like, yo, you are a product, okay, as the artist. And you have to be aware that, like, for example, my agent's job is to sell that product,
Yeah.
right? So if you can't provide him a product of value, then you need to find a way to create value within that product so that this agent can sell it, so that you are worth tickets and people want to come see you and promoters want to pay you to play their shows. And that's like, that's just a harsh reality. And I think that's a lot of things that people don't talk about. They're just like, well, I'm going to make this great music and I'm going to put it out and everything's just going to work. Like,
Yeah.
nah, it's not like that anymore.
Now this is the headliner mindset podcast, not the bedroom mindset podcast.
Yeah.
So again, there's nothing wrong with it, bro. I play guitar, I write riffs, I jam, I have fun. I
Hmm.
don't I'm not building a business around it though. I just it's just for my own enjoyment, and nothing wrong with that at all. But yeah, if you want to, be out there touring, doing your thing. I think what's cool too is when you think about, I like that you bring up your agent's got to eat too. He's got to put food on the table. He or she needs to put food on the table for their kids, for their family, for themselves. And I think when we step into seeing the potential of, I get to run a company and also support other people in it, where it's not just about me anymore,
Hmm.
but I'm helping other people get paid. I'm helping other people build their careers. The better music I make, the more my agent can grow and climb the ladder and establish themselves, the more my manager can grow in their career. And stepping out of it just being about yourself and actually realizing like there's a whole team of other people here. We all get to win together. I think that's a really cool thing to tap into, because when we make things about more than just ourselves, there's a different type of energy and a different type of drive, I feel like, comes with that, at least for me.
I 100% agree. And like, I make music for me, but I also make music to bring enjoyment and love and expression to other people so they can understand how I'm feeling and what I'm doing, right?
Mm,
So I love where you bring up the team aspect because, like, my team works their asses off for me. Like, we just did a merch drop yesterday, and like this morning, I was just like, yo, I try to make sure that they know that I'm thankful for what they do and that I appreciate the work they put in. Like, first thing this morning, I was like, yo, drop was amazing, sold out super quick. I love you guys. Thank you for your hard work. I really appreciate it. And I think little things like that go a long way because my team works on a lot of different things. Like Daniel, my day-to-day manager, he's also like the head talent buyer for Relentless Beats.
yeah.
So like, dude, he's talent buying all day, but also working on my project. Then you have Josh, who's does my day-to-day stuff too. And he's the label manager for D&D, and he also manages other acts.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that as an artist, when you do have that team, it's for me, it's different, right? I have a very close bond with my team, and I'm fortunate that I've had the same team my entire career,
Wow. That's
which
cool.
it's rare. So like
Yeah.
Thomas, Daniel, Josh on the management side, and then Rob on the agent side. And then I got to shout out Jules too, because he works alongside Rob and does a lot of the day-to-day stuff. So like
Yeah.
I try to make sure that they know they're appreciated. And you get to a point as an artist where you can't manage everything. It's just impossible. You'd go crazy. You'd be up 20 hours a day.
Yeah. It's the same thing for any business. If you want to scale, you have to build a team and you have to delegate.
Yes.
I'm at that point right now where I'm like, oh shit, I started a podcast and I'm editing this podcast by myself and it's taking all this time, and now I have more people coming to me, and so I'm getting more clients, and now my calendar's filling up with like all these calls. I'm like, oh shit, I got about like 30 more days before I'm at that point where like I
Mhm.
have to really build a team. And it's cool to see that, and I love that at the end of the day, man, you're, we call it the label boss, but like you're the boss of your company, you're the owner of the label,
Mhm.
and anybody wants to have a cool boss. You want to have a cool boss that like gives you a pat on the back and says like, "Hey,
Yeah.
thank you for your hard work." That's why so many people are disengaged in the companies that they work for. We have all this like quiet quitting and all these things
Mhm.
happening out there where people are just not being appreciated for what they do. And I don't know, especially in the music industry where things can sometimes just be, I don't know, there's a lot of ego and there's a lot of,
Yeah.
bullshit that comes with it. So to come in with some humbleness and some gratitude and some thank yous and some I love yous, that shit goes a long way.
Yeah, 100%. And like, dude, we're all really close. So like, I talk to Daniel 5 times a day, talk to Josh all day. I mean, I'll be on the phone with Thomas for hours, like I think it's important to have it's tough, right? Because some people can't separate business and personal, where we
Yeah.
can do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I think it's important that you have that close bond with your team, right? Where it's like, yo, we're a crew, we're trying to grow, we're trying to build something and make it as big as possible so that everyone eats the best way they possibly can and everyone's happy.
Yeah. That's your family. We oftentimes talk about when you're getting a manager, that's like your spouse, you're
Yeah.
gonna be in a marriage with them ideally for a long time, right?
Mhm.
What advice would you give to young artists that are looking for a manager or think that they need a manager or are starting that process, right? Because that's usually one of the first steps that people are wanting to take is I need to find a manager, help me build my career. What advice would you give to artists out there that are looking for managers?
So let me start with the part where you said artists that are looking for a manager. So I'm gonna go back to something I said earlier where Thomas was like, yo, you need to know how to manage your own project,
Mhm.
right? I think every single artist that's looking for a manager should take a look at themselves and be like, do I know how to do this? What am I doing to help myself? You know? Because you want a manager to come on and create opportunities for you and take you places that you can't already take yourself, right?
Yeah.
So this takes patience, which a lot of people don't have these days. So why do you need a manager, right? Are you at a point where you need to delegate work because you don't have more time? Are you actually being like, hey, I'm so busy that I'm so stressed out and so overworked that I need someone to take this on? Because if you are, then okay, you're in a space where you need someone to manage this. This is personal opinion. I think if you're looking for a manager, you want to have someone. There's two ways to go, right? You can either go with the young, hungry manager who wants to build with you. That's the type of person that I think is going to have more longevity and is going to look after your project more and want to really scale, not only for themselves, but for you and your team as a whole, right? That's where I was at with things. That's what I experienced with my management team. Then you could have someone come in where they're already a huge manager and then can create a lot of opportunity immediately and pair you with these bigger artists. And if that's what you want to do, great. But understand you're probably not going to be the priority. So if you can live with that and be like, yo, we're going to scale this, you're probably not even going to have that manager. They're probably going to delegate someone on their team to work on your project while they just oversee it from a distance while they're working on the bigger acts. So if you can live with that, cool. But I personally think if you have someone who may have a little bit of experience and is hungry and was like, yo, I want to win, I think that's something that is more sought after, in my opinion.
Mm. I love that you talk about really taking ownership first and making sure that you're doing absolutely everything that you can for yourself and for your career, because I think a lot of artists are kind of waiting for their knight in shining armor to come and whisk them away into the sunset and take care of everything for them. And one of the big things that I think we're often wanting managers for is the relationships and the
Hmm.
contacts. And 100%, like your manager should be plugged in and have a good network and be able to call any agency or label and open those doors for you. I love what you said earlier, though, about your story. You said that you spent your own money getting out there and meeting talent buyers and developing your own network and doing that shit yourself.
Yep, I did that. And it's like, well, let's backtrack a little bit and think about, because like, here's the thing. If you think you need management, managers are probably going to be seeking you out. You know, like if you're really in a space where you need management, they're going to find you.
Yep.
Right. And if you have something to offer, they're going to be like, yo, they're going to be fucking banging your door down, you know? And I was in a space in 2016 where I started to tour a little bit after like Hello with Dr. Fresh came out, and I had my first night bass release in the same week. Right. A week later, I started getting offers, and it
Yep.
was like, whoa, like, okay, cool. So I'm like, yo, Thomas, we're getting offers. We need an agent. And he's like, all right, let me work on this. We started talking to some agents. We were talking to three of them, and we're like, summer goes by, nothing's happening. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? I'm like eager. Right. And he's like, just be patient. I'm talking to them. Figure it out. So it's like October. I'm like, all right, I had a few big records come out that year. Right. This was the SoundCloud era. And like you could just drop some shit and it goes big.
Yeah.
Right. So like I had multiple songs that had gone big, and I was like, yo, we got steam. Like now's the time. Like let's do some type of tour. And they're like, dude, the agents just aren't biting. They're like, they don't think you're ready. And I was like, all right, fuck it. I was like, okay, cool. We're going to book our own tour. And Thomas is like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I'm going to go get us as many shows as we possibly can after I'd been traveling all over the country for 2 years meeting people. And then I go, all I need you to do is fill in the blanks when I come to you with confirmed shows. And they were kind of looking at me like, you're insane, but all right, let's see what happens. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna ride with you. I booked through the month of October. I booked 17 shows myself for
Holy shit.
Q1 of the next year. Right?
Damn, son.
Took Thomas the list, and I go, look, here's the shows. Could you fill three somewhere? Like just hit up your promoter friends, please. Just get us three shows. So we have this 20-date tour. And he's like, all right, I got this. Filled it, 20 dates. I was like, cool. We're gonna announce this in like January. So had this song called Guru at the time. I was like, what are we going to make this tour? I was like, something about this song is big, right? It's like, let's make it the Guru tour. Drop the song, first day on SoundCloud, 100,000 streams. And I'm just like, all right, we got something here. Announce the tour in January. Perfect example of either management or agent being like, yo, there's something here and we're going to show you why. Drop the tour. Agents called Thomas immediately. Yo, who booked this tour for you? Who'd you sign with? And he's like, we didn't sign with anyone. We did it ourselves. And they're like, what? How did you do that? And he told them. And then he's like, yo, all these agents want to talk to you. And I go, cool, make them wait.
Mm.
Like,
Hell yeah.
they didn't think we were ready, so now make them wait.
Dude, and you also really get to take so much ownership of that, of like, you knew what was up.
Mm-hmm.
You believed in yourself, you saw the vision, and like it's like sometimes you got to trust yourself even more than your manager or more than your agent. I remember Slander came up to me and they had booked a show at the Palladium,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, dude, we feel like we can do another back-to-back night. Like we feel like we can announce another show and do really well. But it was like the managers and the agents were like, dude, no, that's too risky. We don't think you should do it. And I was like, bro, like what's your heart saying? What do you feel in your
Mm-hmm.
fucking gut? What do you feel in your body? You're the artist, you're the business owner, this is your show. Like what's that thing telling you? And he's like, fuck it. And they announced it and they sold it out in like 5 minutes. You
Yep.
know, I was like, yes, sir. That's right. Trust yourself.
So sick. That's one of the biggest things. Like, you have to trust yourself and trust your vision, regardless if it's in music. This is just in life.
Yeah.
Like, you have to trust yourself in whatever it is that you're doing, because if you don't and you're going into something questioning it, I feel like at that point you have no chance of winning.
Yeah. And also, you had a lot of experience, though, too. It's like the more experience you have, the more you can trust yourself. It's not like you had never booked a show before. You've been promoting shows, you put in the time.
Yeah.
It's like you had this deep sort of innate wisdom of knowing like what's going to work, and so that there's a lot to be said for that as well.
Which is like,
Yeah.
it takes time to build that confidence. Like, it doesn't happen overnight, you know? And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I can sit here and be like, I'm so confident about everything, but like, no, every now and then I'll be like, fuck, I don't know if that's a good idea. Like, feels really dope,
Yeah.
but there's like a smidgen that's like, huh. And you have to, like, if you're 99% sure, you're pretty sure, you know? So, like, all right, fuck the 1%, we're going for this
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah. There's another element to this, which after building yourself up to a certain point, the reality of having DJ support and
Mhm.
having other people that are a couple steps ahead of you put you on and support you, it's so built into the culture of dance music, right? It's like
Mhm.
almost everybody has had some other person that's ahead of them kind of put them on. Who was that for you? Who were some of the guys that started supporting you and opening up those doors and helping you build your career?
So, at like a bigger scale, there's three right now, like Dr. Fresh, Wax Motif, AC Slater. Like, hands down, you know, I was ready to quit music in 2015 before that Kevin Federline call came. And this is kind of a cool story. Like, I knew Wax at that point, and I sent him an email with this song called I'm a Dog and was like, yo, dude, I'm ready to quit music. Like, no one's signing the records. My sound is different. Like, US G House is different than like this European G House, so big, and I just don't like that shit anymore, and it's not fun for me. And I was like, but here's this record, you know, it's like something new I just finished. And at that time when Facebook was big, he was doing like his top 10 tracks of the month. And like for 2 weeks, like I didn't get a response. I'm like, damn, bro, he's not gonna respond to my email. Like, fuck, maybe I should just quit.
Mm,
2 weeks later, he drops the top 10 and he put that song number two.
damn.
I don't think I've ever even told him this. Like, that and what Tony did for me a week later is why I did not quit music. Like, there was that was like, yo, okay, like, can't give up. You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm number two on this list of really good records. Like, I can't give up. And a week later, Tony had prep fresh. He had prep school as his label, and he signed it. And I
Yeah.
was like, all right, we're gonna keep going. You know, so it's
Yeah.
like, I got their support, which was cool. And then that first Night Bass release was like such a big thing because Night Bass was so tight knit at that time. Like, if you could like get yourself into that crew, it was like a big thing. It was like you're part of like the Illuminati of like bass house at the time, you know?
Yeah. Man, yeah, that's huge. And do you think, I mean, there's a lot of good music out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to ask you as a label owner, right? That
Mm-hmm.
was actually how I had heard of you, just because everybody was talking about Bijou and wanting to get on your label. Like I didn't even know like you or your music or anything, but I used to work over at Icon Collective, and I would just hear kind of through the hallways like, "Oh, I'm trying to get on this label over here." And there was this a lot of intrigue and a lot of desire to want to be a part of what you were building. And I'm curious about where you make your decisions from, because
Mm-hmm.
there definitely is a lot of great music out there, right? And is it purely just off of the music, or is it also really looking at who is this person, what is their brand, what's their personality, you know, because you're talking about how it's really hard to get in with Night Bass.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine it's like probably not just the music that they're making those decisions on. There's probably got to be something else there. What's your thought process around who you're signing and who you're choosing to support as somebody who is, you know, a couple steps ahead in the industry now?
So 9 out of 10 times, I'm gonna need to meet you first. You know, I'm the type of person where I like to form relationships with people. It's just who I am. I mean, that's how I worked my way into where I am now, like doing that legwork and like actually forming genuine relationships with these people, not just being like, yo, I'm just gonna use you for a booking. You know,
Yeah.
like, I want to see if you're cool. If I like you and you're cool, like, cool. Hopefully I can bring some value and I can play a show for you because I like you. You know, like, I don't want to go play for a shitty promoter who sucks, you know, who's not a good person. And I'm the same type of way where it's like, cool, I want to know who these artists are. I want to know who they are as people, right? Like DLMT, for example. Like, I want to know Dan, right?
Yeah.
DLMT is great. I love the music. I love the brand. but I want to know what Dan's about. Like, who are you? What do you like? And that's what it is for me. So majority of the time, the stuff I'm signing, like, it takes longer, and you're gonna have to have persistence with me, and it's gonna take legwork because I want to know you, right? And I want to know what the thing is like, say I'm building out a tour and I'm gonna take you on tour. Who wants to go on tour with people they don't like?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm thinking long term, whereas maybe some of these artists, I don't want to say they are, but maybe they're thinking like, all right, I just got to get on the label. I'm thinking a year ahead of time where it's like, yo, say we do this D&D tour, who's coming on the road with me?
It's like you get to choose your own family,
Hmm.
right? Like your friends are your chosen family. Some people we're just kind of fucking stuck with and we have no choice, but if if we actually have the choice, let's choose dope people to be around. We don't have that option oftentimes having a 9 to 5 job or whatever. It's like you have to work with the people you have to work with, but
Hmm.
if you can really choose, then yeah, you should be selective and really surround yourself with people that not only are doing good work but have a good personality to go behind it, and a like-minded vibe as well.
Totally. And I just want to make sure that like the brand and the message that they're putting out like aligns with my values as an artist and as a person.
Mm. And what are your values in art as a artist and person?
Such a good question. I love when people ask this. For me, my entire career has been built off of creating a space for people to have enjoyment, right? So I'm a giver. It's naturally who I am as a person, and sometimes I give too much. So I want to understand that, like, hey, if you're coming, actually, hold on. You asked me what mine are. So my values are, right, is selflessness, really loving the music, right? Doing this for the right reasons. Like, there's so many people now that are like, yo, I see what goes on with the DJ careers, and like these people are famous and they play all these shows. Like, you don't see like everything that goes on with it. People just see the shows, right? I want to understand that if you're doing this, it's because you love music and you want to create a positive message for people to understand that there's a lot of love and a lot of really good in this world. And that's the message that I'm preaching, right? And like you can go to all my socials and just like majority of the things I say, you can go to post captions, you can things of that sort. Like you can just kind of tell that like that's just kind of who I am as a person. Like I'm a big lover. Like I love people and I really love the people that are close to me. So like if I'm bringing you in, it's because I really care.
Bro, you just tickled my heart a little bit. I love that, man. I love that. Very, very aligned with those values as well. Very much so. Um, what are some of the things that people don't see?
Um, the bullshit we got to go through with like the business side of things and the politics and the extreme amount of work and all the birthdays, weddings, family parties that I miss because I'm on the road or working on like my project. Like, dude, there was 3 years in a row I went and had Christmas at my parents' house and went to the studio after
On Christmas Day?
on Christmas Day.
Wow.
It was just like, yo, I'm so driven and want this so bad. Like, yo, mom, dad, my brother, I love you guys. Today's been great, but I got to go to the studio now.
Yeah.
And like you have to sacrifice so much in regards to even like your health from a mental standpoint, a physical standpoint. There's so much that goes into it. Like, luckily, like I don't drink, I don't do any drugs. So, like, touring for me is pretty easy. Like, Rob's even like, you're the easiest tour or the easiest artist to route because you'll go across the country and don't care because you're not tired and you're not hungover or drunk still. So, I can send you anywhere I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are a lot of things. Like, they also don't see the investment from a financial standpoint that you have to put into a project now. It's not like, yeah, there's those instances where like, yo, some records just hit, right? And boom, you have all this value and people want to see you, right? But you have to invest into the brand. You have to invest into the music. Like I have to invest into the label. Like
what specifically are you investing in to really grow things and push things forward?
A lot of it is marketing in a lot of ways. Dude, from the
Just like running ads, like
yeah,
Instagram ads and shit like that. Yeah.
running ads, running like steering people. Like think about this, right? You're running shit from Facebook towards Spotify, just so people can go see your Spotify profile, right? You're investing money into mixing and mastering. If you don't mix and master your own shit, if you want to have a decent studio, which just so everyone's aware, you don't have to have. You can literally win on headphones and a computer.
Yeah. Bro,
Um,
I got people out there that got probably like $100,000 studio and like still haven't put out any music.
it's like
Shout out all you motherfuckers out there because you know who you are.
call them out.
When you're ready to get in the fucking arena, y'all hit me up so
Hmm.
you can start getting a return on that expensive ass studio investment. I
Yeah,
see you out there.
it's crazy. But like, dude, like think about like from a label standpoint, like, yo, we're investing money into marketing, we're investing money into artwork, all the assets we need. We invest in a PR company for the label now. So like every release is getting PR on it. Like that's something I think from an artist standpoint, if you don't run a label, you don't see.
And do you, I mean, I feel like the word on the street is there's no money to be made from just streams. Are you recouping your investment on what you're putting into the label? Like, what does
Yeah.
that what does
Yes.
that look like? Because everyone's just like, oh, there's no money to be made in streams or
Yeah, I think 2019 we started the label. It's either it's been like it's all a blur now. But like I can say wholeheartedly, like, yes, we're in the green. It's not a lot of money, you know, like this label has been a passion project for me,
yeah, you
you
haven't
know.
bought your mansion on the beach yet with it.
No. I'm still chilling in Arizona in the same house. So,
Yeah,
um, but it started as a passion project for me to help artists grow, you know, like I wanted to do what Wax, Fresh, and AC did for me. And when I started the label, like beforehand, I talked to AC about it, and he's like, "Why are you starting a label? Like, what's your purpose?" And I go, "The reason I want this label is I want to have my own imprint so that I can release music at my own pace because I'm sick and tired of waiting on everyone. But also, I want to build and develop artists like you did for me. What you brought to me was so valuable, and I feel like I'm in a space now where I can do that for others, where I want to give back and help." So,
yeah, man. I think that's just such a cool and necessary part of almost like the karmic energy that
hmm
exists within dance music culture, and it's cool to see. I've been having a lot of talks about, like, I was talking last week with Gesture about, like, Plur and being in the rave scene, and there's just this beautiful energy that exists in that space of being in the crowd, but also behind the scenes. It's cool to see what's actually going on with DJs. It's like, yo, I'm giving to you, you're giving to me, we're all supporting each other. At least
hmm
the cool ones are. Some
yeah,
people are kind of just out there for themselves, but I really love that you do have some high values around like why you're doing this,
hmm
and that part of giving back to the scene, giving back to the people that have helped you, giving back to the next generation of artists that are coming up. I mean, that's what it's all about, dude. That's what makes this shit beautiful, and it's also what makes it continue to move forward and continue to expand and just continue to exist.
100%. And I think dance music is in a really good space right now where a lot of that is happening because the thing is, I firmly believe that like the cream always rises to the top in the sense that the people that are going to work the hardest, the people that do the right things, and the people that are honest. And I think a lot of that is happening right now where like a lot of the bullshit is just kind of phasing itself out.
Yeah.
And the artists I'm seeing win right now are people that I've been like, yo, they've deserved to win for so long. Like Wax is a great example. He's rushing it right now, you know? And like for a very long time, he was in a space where he was doing great, right? And he was selling tickets and he was playing tons of shows, but like, yo, like he's selling crazy tickets right now. Like, dude, he just did 3,500 tickets in San Jose, like sold out Palladium a week in advance. Like, and for me, that's so exciting to see because I've got to see how hard he's worked over the years to get to that point, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's that combination of hard work. Like, you got to put in the hours, you got to grind, you got to hustle, you got to build your
hmm
audience, you got to keep going in those times that you want to quit,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't hurt to also be a fucking good person and to put good energy out and to help other people and to be nice. This is a relationship driven business, and not that you should ever do it because you want to get something out of that, but
Mhm.
genuinely being like a good human in regardless of what industry you're in, just in life, man. You put that good energy out. Like I fully believe, I don't even just believe in karma, like I live by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I embody that shit. Good things come to me because I live in that frequency. And it's like, I don't know, man, that's the only way to fucking do it, in my opinion. So
I
it's
agree.
really cool to see that you're on that same level. And yeah, man, just really cool to get connected with you. I've loved hearing all about just your story. And at the end of this conversation, I'm just walking away with a lot of respect and admiration for who you are, not only as an artist and as a business owner, as a label owner, but most importantly, just as a human being. So
Thank you. I appreciate that because I feel like a lot of times the scope is like so closed in on us that people forget that like we're human too. So to hear you say that makes me really fulfilled and happy because sometimes you don't feel that, and that's just the way it is.
yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your energy with me today and with everybody that's listening. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, man, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I'm in the club and I'm buzzing with the energy. Showing love even to my enemies and I got